So just one shift today, just one shift is going to shift everything else. Just from today, very subtle. Even if you say it, stop it and say it again. I choose to do this. Not I cannot live without this. I cannot do without this. No, I am a master. I am the master of my mind. I am the master of my sense organs, and I choose what to do. Once we start practicing this, it will become a natural way of living. It become a natural way of living. Then we take it to the next level. I create the stress that I'm experiencing right now. It's not work stress. It's not relationship stress. It's not travel stress. It is I create the stress. Work, relationship, travel, exams, these are pressures. So again, keeping the simple formula with you, stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. We used to learn this in school. Stress is equal to pressure divided by resilience. Pressure is not in my control. Pressure could be a behavior, pressure could be the weather, pressure could be COVID, pressure could be the current situations in the world, pressure could even be the health of my body, because it's my body, again, outside to who I am. I am the being, this is my body. So pressure, which means challenge in life, sometimes could be the health of my body. But we cannot say, because I'm not healthy, I'm not happy. No, it's not matter over mind. It is mind over matter. Body may be unwell. Body may be experiencing a terminal illness. And I can be calm and happy because my mind is not dependent on my body. This is the truth. This is a reality. And we've seen everyone around us. Many of you must have met someone who's going through a chronic ailment and yet very light, vibrant, happy. And someone could just have a little cold, cough, fever, and they say, oh, I'm not well, what to do, horrible day, bitter experience. They can blame just a little cold for not being happy that day. People open the windows in the morning and say, the weather is so depressive. We can't say that. Then I'm saying I'm feeling low and gloomy because of the weather. This is very subtle, but it's become our vocabulary. And the more we speak that way, the more the mind becomes dependent. So what is happiness? Happiness means being emotionally independent. Emotionally independent. Physical independence, social independence, financial independence, emotional independence. That is power. Emotional independence is power, which means I am emotionally independent, calm in a crisis, loveful when someone is in pain and not behaving the right way with me, respectful and radiating blessings when someone could be using abusive language because they are emotionally unwell right now. When someone is not in their right behavior, we need to remember they are not doing this to us. They're only showing us their state of mind at the moment. They're just showing us that they are emotionally in pain. And so their words, their behavior, their energy, it reflects their pain. Their pain could be just as words, and sometimes it could be more than that. Recently, a young sister, about 35 years old, she came to learn meditation at this center. And she was sitting in the meditation room, and when she walked out, she just said, I've released something that I've held on to for almost 30 years. I said, what happened? And then she shared that she had gone through an experience when she was 5 years old. Her parents had left the house with her uncle. She was 5 years old that time, and she experienced abuse. And now she was about 35, and she said, you know what? 35 years I have hated people. I can't trust people. She chose not to get married, not to be in a relationship. And she said, I can't trust anybody. And she said, I don't even trust my parents actually. And she said, I've not had a very good relationship with them for 30 years. And she said, while I was sitting and contemplating what we have studied today, she said, I just realized that what I experienced 30 years back was somebody else's mistake. But all that they could do was to my body, which was horrible. But you know, what did I do for 30 years to myself? She said, I held on to hatred for 30 years. I held on to doubt and insecurity for 30 years. She said, what they did was bad, but I think what I did to myself was completely my choice. And today, she said, today I release. I just release what I've held on to, because I realize what I've held on to is not what they did. What they did was to my body, but what I held on to was my creation. And I'm not going to live in hurt and pain anymore. That's all. It was just that. 1 minute of a realization. And that doesn't mean what the other person did was right, not at all. But what it just means is what I was creating here was my choice. What they did was not in my control at that age. But what I did for 30 years was completely my choice. And I chose to create hatred. And she changed her vocabulary immediately. She said, I chose to create hatred. Before that, she was saying, people are horrible. See the shift in the vocabulary. I chose hatred. She said, I chose not to forgive. She said, I chose not to like my parents and blame them for what happened. And then, when she started this healing with herself, and healing was just an understanding, her relationships with her parents changed because she had released that emotional blockage which she had held on to for so long. And when she did that, she suddenly shifted towards being happy. Earlier, she was doing everything the normal way, working. She's not innately happy. Because I cannot be happy when I've held on to something there in my subconscious. I just cannot be happy. So it's a very fundamental thing. I think we should have been taught this when we were in kindergarten. It's very fundamental that people can be here, they can cheat, they can betray, they can abuse, they can use wrong language, but that's because they are emotionally unwell. It's because they are going through something very turbulent inside them. But my thought and feeling, my emotion is my choice. It's my creation.